Dean, 3 games in, first taste of silverware.
Yeah, nice. And I know the club and the fans will like to keep hold of the trophy. The performance was scratchy to get there, but we used a lot of players and we tried different combinations and we tried different experimentation within that. So to come out with a win's fine. I think the performance needs to be better, and that was reflected in the group afterwards in the changing room. They know that they need to do things better. But everybody that was fit played today, and they've got some minutes under their belt. Some of them are good minutes, and some of them they know they've let themselves down, and they know it's going to be hard now to get into that 17 and then the 19-man squad for a game day.
You looked, before we kicked off, you looked at splitting the game down into 4 20-minute blocks and almost, not quite, but almost a different side in every one of those 20 minutes. Was that just to give you an idea of bit of adversity, moving people around, see how they cope?
Yeah, I tried people in different positions, and also tried different combinations and looked at potentially who's good at starting and who's good at coming off the bench in terms of the middle rotation. Also looked at people's ability to play minutes. Unfortunately today they got found out that they couldn't play that 20 minutes, and that's not good enough. They need to be able to play good minutes as middles, and I thought Ross Whitmore was a good example of that today. He played like 67 minutes in that middle group, whether it was at 9 at 13, and I thought he was probably one of our better performers today.
It seemed from behind the camera anyway that the first half seemed a little bit flat from both sides at the beginning. That wasn't the case at the beginning of the second half when there was a few big hits put in.
Yeah, we had a point to prove, and the lads that came on obviously had not had many minutes against Barrow or had not played at all in any of them, so they had something to prove, and that first spell after half time was good, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that identity where we're getting the minus in terms of the defensive yardage carries that Leeds had. But yeah, the first half was a bit flat. It's an interesting one, isn't it? The cup, it's a pre-season friendly. I don't know if that was our mental preparation, but that's something we can look at and see if we can't turn up that flat. But we played some good rugby, scored a couple of nice tries. Defensively we're okay, but it's the 4th and 5th tackle penalties or 6 agains that's killing us. And I mentioned in the changing rooms that if we don't learn quickly, we can't keep making the same mistake again and again. And you can do as much video and as much coaching, but it's a player-led decision that to give away that penalty or to switch off, and it's about making sure that they're switched on going as we get ready for March.
We were on the wrong side of a fair few 6 agains last week. We didn't get penalised for not playing the ball incorrectly last week. We've been done twice again today. Is that something that we need to go back and look at?
Yeah, we covered that, and again we did it in training. Make sure you just put your foot on the ball. But that again, that's what I know many people in the media will call a coach killer. But it's just frustrating. Like you've defended a set, you're coming out of your own end, you don't put your foot on the ball and turn it over. And we did that twice today. And the lads, they police that themselves. They know that's not good enough. And the senior boys have already pulled the individuals on it, and they know that can't happen again. And so we just need to make sure, moving forward, that we correct it and we're doing the right things. But I know we're a little bit better than we were last week. We were better than we were against Barrow in patches, and myself and Jacko and Kyle Trout have an idea of what the team's going to look like going into that Challenge Cup game.
But we've had 3 games now. Everybody that's been available has played. Has that given you a few interesting decisions going into next week, the Challenge Cup and Batley as the last game of the 1895? Yeah,
I think a few people have put their hand up today, and a few people that you think you should be playing have not turned up for the Hunslet shirt, and that's something that we can't have, and they need to address that themselves and make sure that they're prepared every time that they come out and play for us.
Obviously there's been some people that have missed out today. One of those is Josh Jordan Roberts, who picked up an injury last week against Fev. Any news on him? Yeah,
Josh is really sore in around the shoulder and clavicle. Sore to touch. He's been in a sling most of the week. It's just a case of monitoring, making sure he rehabs potentially 4 to 6 weeks. On that, we were lucky. We didn't have to have an operation or anything on the back of it. So yeah, hopefully getting Josh back for March is a big one for us, but he's got to come back fit and we have to get him right. I don't want to rush him back early and then him having to miss out a few games because we've not done his return to play properly, so we need to make sure that that's managed by the medical staff.
And any update on the other lads that missed out?
Yeah, Matty Mahal was just pulled up a bit sore from last week. I know he got one when he went right into the line. I think it was for the Jack Render try, and he just pulled up a little bit sore. A couple today where we've got some injuries. Ewan obviously took a big shot off a couple of offloads, and then Lewis Ray as well is pulling up with his shoulder and rib. So we'll see how they pull up over the next couple of days, building into Sunday.
Back on the Cup Trail next week against your former club at Keighley. Interesting. Was it interesting when the draw was made on Monday?
Yeah, it was interesting, and then all of a sudden my phone turned into like a Christmas tree. It just kept lighting up. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a cup game, innit? And we make sure that we prepare to do the best we can and perform the best we can. The tactics are real simple: score more than them, and we'll probably win the game. Yeah. So that's how it is. But yeah, Keighley at home, they'll bring a good crowd. They're always very vocal, and I know the Hunslet guys are vocal as well. So it'll be an interesting one down here at South Leeds.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the silverware today.
Cheers, mate.
We've got, obviously with it being Friday night playing, we've got that little bit longer to get ready for next weekend and back on the road to Wembley.
Fingers crossed, mate. I love a trip to Wembley.
Yeah. Cheers, Dean.
Cheers, Scott.